From my autopsy table, I could tell a lot of what was happening during lockdown restrictions. There were 5 things I noticed at autopsy subjectively from my own caseload during lockdown. The first thing I noticed was that there was what seemed to be an increase in suicides. And of these suicides, hanging seemed to be the way to go. The youngest hanging I had during lockdown was 7 years old. The second thing I noticed during lockdown was that there was an increase in addict-type deaths. People weren't getting their fixes. In other words, they weren't getting their alcohol or their drugs. So they were making their own alcohol at home and they were getting impure drugs and they were dying because of that. So because people were not getting their alcohol during lockdown restrictions, they decided to make their own alcohol at home. And we started seeing a lot of deaths due to home brews. So what people don't realize is that if you're going to brew your own alcohol at home, that first batch is almost pure methanol, and methanol is deadly. So I had one particular case which I'd like to share with you. It was an adult male who drank methylated spirits. But the pathology of trauma of methylated spirits is what I want to discuss today. It causes a very unique brain injury, which is known as bilateral putaminal necrosis. And there is a photo for you of this phenomenon, but it selectively attacks a certain part of your brain. And the question is, why does it attack that particular part of the brain? Why does it selectively attack the putamen and not, for example, the globus pallidus? And the reason is the putamen is the phylogenetically oldest part of the brain, and it is very sensitive to acidic substances. And therefore, methylated spirits, which breaks down to formic acid, attacks the putamen specifically. So you get bilateral putaminal necrosis with methylated spirits poisoning. So formic acid specifically attacks the putamen in methylated spirits ingestion. The third thing I noticed was an increase in interpersonal violence. There was nowhere left to run and hide. Couples had to come face to face with each other for the first times in their lives, and this caused interpersonal violence. The fourth thing I noticed was lockdown decreased people's reflexes. Eventually, when they were driving again, they seemed to have lost confidence or something like that, but there was definitely an increase in road traffic fatalities during and after lockdown. And the last thing I noticed was an increase in skeletons and decomposed bodies. No one was finding all the lonely people. Usually joggers find dead bodies on the side of the road. There was no joggers, and these people were not found. No one was finding the lonely people. They were found dead in their flats or in the field, and they were found late.